Greetings, everyone, and welcome to my December video blog post of the author's pen. December. Where did 2022 go? Like, it just flew by. And what a year 2022 was. Look at all the things that happened in 2022. Politics were in uproar. And the news media is the news media. We haven't been able to trust them for years, so God knows how long it'll be before we could trust them again. The war in Ukraine, inflation, energy costs. It's just one thing after another. You know, so are all these things enough to make people like stressed and unhappy? Of course they are. But you know what? December is a happy month. It's supposed to be a happy month. I don't know if you read my blog post from last week, but December to me, in my opinion, is probably the happiest month for most people. It's Christmas season for some faiths. It's Hanukkah for others. And regardless of what your faith is and what you believe in, it should be a happy season. But yeah, a lot of the social media posts I see from people and just talking to people on a daily basis, because I do love to chat with people. So many people are stressed out, and I thought a good thing to talk about this month would be tips for a happy holiday season, regardless of the holiday that you're celebrating. Because you know what? There's always something to learn. We could always all learn something. God, I learn something from people every single day. It may not be something I didn't know. It might be something that I have forgotten, and it just kind of refreshed my brain. But there's always something to learn. So what I want to focus on in this month's video blog post is us talking about some ways that we could have a happy holiday season. You know, when I was growing up, being of Italian descent, my mom and dad were alive, and there were Christmas Eves where there was 17 people around the table. And, you know, as my kids got married, there would be even more. And when my grandkids were born, there was even more. And, you know, we learned the things not to talk about at a holiday, because there's always going to be things like, you take me and my sister, for example, as much as I love her to death and would do anything for her, we do not agree politically at all. So we just agree we're not going to discuss politics on a holiday because we know it's going to lead to an argument. But how do we make our holiday season happier in times that are very stressful? And there might be a lot of reasons that we're unhappy. Money could be tight. When you look at the statistics, 72% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. Where are you going to get that extra money to buy Christmas gifts? Where are you going to get that extra money to have the big feast on the holiday? God, I know, again, being Italian, on Christmas Eve, we do the fish thing, and this year prices are out of control, you know. So do we let it stress us? Do we let it destroy our holiday? And what about people who lost loved ones close to a holiday? Let me tell you something from somebody who lost their mother and their father. Both my parents are gone. And yes, the holidays changed for us drastically after that. But, you know, after a year or two went by, we thought to ourselves, are they really gone? Are your loved ones really gone when they pass on? Well, they've passed on, depending on what you believe, to a new life. Something you should be happy about. The other thing is, as long as someone is in your heart and your mind, and they're part of your memories, they're always with you. They're never really gone. They may not be sitting there at the table with you physically, but they're never really gone, and they're always with you. It just all depends on the attitude or perception or how you want to look at the fact that they're not gone. I don't look at my mom and dad as being gone. I could talk to them anytime I want. All I have to do is talk to them. All I have to do is listen to my own heart, and I'll hear them. Remembering the things my mom or my dad said, these are things that make me smile. Okay? So I just thought it was a good time to talk about some tips for helping to make a happy holiday season for you. Well, what stresses you out? Before anybody could realize what makes them happy, they have to realize and understand what makes them unhappy. And if you remove the unhappy factors from your life, then what's left? Happiness. All right? Does that make sense? I think it does. So analyze what makes you unhappy and be done with it. The hell with it. Don't deal with it. Don't bring it into the holiday season. Don't stress over gifts. You know what the best gift someone could give me, and I tell my kids all the time, don't, spend your money on the grandkids. Don't spend it on me. I buy what I want throughout the course of the year. And not only that, most of the things I buy, you probably don't have the money to afford. So, you know what? The best gift you could give me is to be together. That's my holiday gift, is having my family together. But if you're going to get me something, what impresses me and what makes me smile and what makes me happy is not the dollar amount they spent on that gift. Because you can't put a price on love. But what you can hold dear to your heart is the time and the thought that someone puts into to get you that special gift. That special gift that is just for you. Because Christmas is a time for giving. Okay? We all know that. People have exchanged gifts for years. Why? Probably most of you don't even know where the tradition of gift giving came from. Again, depending on your faith, the concept of giving at Christmas time is when Jesus gave up his life on the cross for our sins. That was his gift to us. Can you put a monetary value on that? Is that a $1,000 gift, $500 gift, $10,000 gift? Is it a 2-carat diamond? It's none of that. So, what's important is not the dollar amount you spend on a gift. It's the time and the thought that you put into to get that special gift for that person that you know they'll use, they'll appreciate, and it's something special just for them. That makes that gift priceless. It has no monetary value. You can't put a monetary value on it. You can't put a monetary value on love. Because that's where that type of gift comes from. It comes from the love that you have for that individual. Be it a brother, a sister, a mother, a father, children, significant other, or whatever. So don't stress over the fact if you don't have a lot of money to spend on gifts this particular year, because it's a tough year financially for people. Focus on what you know the individuals will enjoy and appreciate. And that has a value that is exponential. All right? So that's one tip. Don't stress over the money. The other thing is, don't stress over the food, the cooking, the this, the that. You know, there's a phrase that I've I've always liked, and it's very, very true. And that's, don't worry about the things you can't control. Focus on the things you can control. And what you can control is yourself. And what happens on a lot of holidays is somebody does all the work. Somebody does all the cleaning. Somebody does all the cooking. Yeah, there's families that share in it. And who brings this when they show up? Who brings that when they show up? But how about this for a concept? How about spending the day with your family? And how about all cooking together at one house? Everybody pitches in. Everybody helps. You have a sip of wine. You have a bottle of beer. You're snacking throughout the course of the day. You're laughing. You're talking about memories, whether it's in family that's no longer with you or things that have happened with the people that are still with us. There's a bond there that, again, has no monetary value. You can't put a monetary value on it. All right? So that's going to give you that feeling of joy, togetherness, happiness, love. You know, my sister and I used to joke before I got my driver's license and we had to walk everywhere we were going to walk. Times were much different then. As those of you who are older will understand. We had a big family. My mother had 6 sisters, 2 brothers. And a lot of times, not every Saturday night, but a lot of Saturday nights, they'd all show up at my mother's house and they would play cards and different kind of games. And let me tell you something about Italian people. Most people don't really understand Italian people. You think when we raise our voice, we're mad. That's the farthest thing from the truth. We're just emotional people. And when we become emotional about something, we raise our voice. However, you get an Italian mad, you'll know the difference. Trust me. Moral of the story is, I would go out, I would, meet my buddies down the soda shop down the center of town, and we'd hang out. And I remember walking home at night, and 3 blocks before I even got to my house, okay, you could hear, because all the windows were open, and you could hear all the sisters arguing and laughing and joking and blah, blah, blah. 3 blocks away from the house, you could hear this. All right? That's happiness. That's love. That's togetherness. That's bonding. How much of that bonding goes on during your holiday season? Is it just when you show up with the little, whatever you made, your contribution to the dinner, you sit down, you have dinner, and then the guys go one way, the girls go another, and one person or everybody leaves, and 1 or 2 people are stuck cleaning up the mess? How about if everybody pitches in, cleans it up together, and then you have good family time afterwards? There's a lot of people, like you take my family, for example. I still have a son and a sister in Connecticut since I've moved to Florida. And I think I moved to Florida because I love wearing my Tommy Bahama shirts, and I could wear them 12 months a year. They're just so darn comfortable. And I have my grandchildren and 2 of my other kids here in Florida. So sometimes we're able to all get together and share a holiday together. And I treasure that more than anything in the world. If not, I'll alternate. I'll fly up north, do a holiday with my family in Connecticut, and then I'll stay in Florida and do a holiday with my family in Florida. All right? The point I'm trying to make is making a bond and having a bond with people, not just showing up for dinner, eating, sitting down for 10 minutes, and then leaving. Because society is always in a rush. I miss the days when stores were closed on holidays. I remember when stores it was against the law to be open on a Sunday. If you didn't get gas on a Saturday night, and you ran out of gas, you weren't driving your car till Monday morning. It kind of forced people to spend family time together. A lot of that is gone. We live in such a hectic, society, and everything's always moving at a hectic pace. The work-life balance is gone in most of the country. All right? So take that bonding time. That's my second tip. Take that bonding time with the people that you love during the holiday seasons. The next tip that I have is how you look at a holiday. All right? December, as I said earlier on in my post, December is kind of a special month. I think it's probably the most happiest month of the year when it comes to holidays. I think Christmas and Hanukkah are probably the biggest holidays for most people. But what follows that? New Year's. All right, if you read my post of last week, I gave you the statistics about how many people keep their New Year's resolutions into the first week, the second week, the first month, into 6 months. People make resolutions at New Year's. Why? Because it's a new beginning. They look at it as it's a new year. So it's a new beginning for them. But if we haven't learned from the, I don't want to use the same mistakes, but from the things that have made us unhappy in the past, if we don't learn not to stop doing those things, our unhappiness is just going to go into the future, and it's going to go into the holiday seasons. And that's the one thing we don't want during the holiday seasons. We don't want that at all. So my tip is, figure out what makes you unhappy and discard it. Throw it in the waste basket. Don't dwell over it, because you can't change the past. You could plan for the future, but you can't predict the future. You can't say for sure you know what's going to happen. But what you can control is the present. And in the present, you can make the conscious choice not to deal with the issues of the past, plan for your future, and enjoy what you have now. Enjoy the holiday seasons. Don't allow them to stress you out. Because I'm going to tell you a little secret. God, and again, every faith believes in a God or a form of a God, regardless of what they call it by name. All right? Every faith believes in a God. And the biggest gift that God has given us is the ability that when we wake up in the morning and we have a pulse, our heart's beating, and we're breathing, we have the ability to institute change. Every day of your life is a new beginning, and don't let anyone tell you anything different. Because at any given point in your life, on any given day in your life, you could institute change. All right? You don't have to wait for the old cliche, as they say on New Year's Eve. Out with the old, in with the new. Out with the old could be any given day of the week, whenever you're ready for it, whenever you choose that it's time to put that behind you and not deal with it. I can't make you do that. I can't tell you when to do it. That's a personal decision. It's a personal choice that you make. But I will tell you this, and I could tell you this through experience. Because I remember many years the holidays would come, especially after I lost my parents, and I'd be all bummed out. The holidays just wouldn't feel the same. I wasn't excited about them anymore. And it almost puts you into a state of being depressed as the holidays come. All right? Now, I'll tell you the one thing I don't like about the holiday season is how early you start seeing stuff in the store and things like that. I think it's become far too commercialized, but I understand why. Many small businesses rely on their Christmas sales to take them through most of the following year, or else they probably wouldn't survive. So I get it. Not stupid, wasn't born yesterday. But Am I going to let that bother me to the point where I'm not going to be happy through the holiday season? I'm not going to put a smile on my face when I hear Christmas music on the radio? Of course I'm not. And you shouldn't either. Now, I'm going to give you one more tip. It's a tip you're going to hear on the radio. It's a tip you hear every single holiday. Don't drink and drive. Okay? If you think you had a little bit too much to drink, stay until it's safe for you to drive. All right? And I know that's an old cliche, and you're probably sick and tired of hearing it. But after all my years of being a professional firefighter and 32 years of being a paramedic, all right, I've seen too many people die in car accidents over alcohol or other substances, excuse me, where they didn't have to die. Nobody had to die. Everybody could have got up the next day. So be responsible. Be responsible for your actions. Be responsible for what you do. Your outlook in December should be of joy, happiness, spending time with the people you love, your friends, your family, your neighbors, whoever they may be. And your focus should be on happiness. Not all the things that make it so difficult to have that happiness, because that's always going to be there in your life. So just learn to get rid of it. And if you do that, not only you're going to have a happy holiday season, a happy Merry Christmas, or they say, or a happy Hanukkah, you're going to have a happy life. This is why I end every one of my posts with a 3-line statement. Live with an open mind, live with an open heart, and live your best life. Because that's what life is all about. Being open to new things, feeling emotions that are in your heart, and transforming all of that into living the life that makes you happy. Whatever that life may be, which is simply your choice. So don't let things get to you at the holiday season. Don't let things get to you on a daily basis, for that matter. Like I said, get rid of them. Throw them in the trash. Focus on the things that make you happy. And that's what you need to focus on. So, as I always say at the end of my closing statements, I do accept guest blog posts. My email address is on the bottom of the screen. If there's a topic you would like to discuss in the form of a written blog post, please email it to me in Word format. I'll review it. We'll email back and forth, and I'll publish it. All right? I believe in offering my forum and my numerous subscribers to other people that like to write. Another thing is, I will have another book coming out in 2023. I know it's been pretty close to 3 years since my last one went out. I didn't think during the pandemic was the right time to do it. And then following the pandemic, once things opened up, I made a major relocation of moving my whole life from Connecticut to Florida, which took quite a bit of time. So there will be more books coming in 2023. Love story, murder mystery. So I don't want you to think that I forgot writing and just went to blog posts, because I've been writing all along. So with that, I want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, and as I said, live with an open heart, live with an open mind, and live your best life. Stay safe, be well. God bless America. Thank you.